All right, so if we take a look here, you can see that we've created this little ground rock area. We went to uh, window, and then let's see, rendering, and then lighting here, and we turned off fog here. So let's go ahead and select this terrain, and let's take a look at how we can create grass and trees. So over here, there's this third option, and it says paint trees. This is where you also paint grass. And you have to essentially edit trees or add the grass in here. So I'm going to hit edit tree and add tree here. And then you get this this section here. Now bend factor has to deal with how they sway and bend. I'm just going to leave it at 0. I don't really care for that right now. And I'm just going to type in tree. And what you'll notice is we didn't get any trees when we imported that pack. So we're going to have to go get trees from the asset store. But I'm going to type in grass here. And you can see we get a couple different types. I'm going to go with this dry A because my ground looks dry here. And I'm just going to zoom in. And if I left click here, you can see, let's see, did it add it? Oh, no trees defined. Let's try that one more time. Oh, I have to hit add. You can see I have a little thing that I can add grass here. And you can see that has a little bit of animation to it. I'm going to hit Control Z to undo that. And what I can do is I can increase my brush size and I can click, and you could see based on how big my brush is, I can just add little bits of foliage. And this grass adds a lot of detail, right, as I'm clicking through. And I don't want to add too much grass because, let's move this up a little bit, because that can also hurt with render times. But you can see with this dry grass here, as I'm moving around, it's starting to add a lot of life and a lot of beauty to my environment, right? So I'm going to go ahead and hit escape, uncheck this, and let's go ahead and go back in here. And let's go to edit trees, and maybe we'll just add another grass, and we'll make it a more of a lush grass as we get closer to the mountains, because maybe there's more water there. So we'll just do grass A here, and I'll go a little bit to this patch here, and I'll take my brush size down. And we could increase the density a little bit, and that'll give us a little bit more grass over here. As you can see, let's increase the density a little bit more. You can see now we got a little bit more grass here. Just kind of adding it around. Doesn't seem like it's adding it. Let's increase our brush size. Let's see. Oh, I never hit add here. There we go. Okay, so now you can see, yeah, we increased the density. And this area is going to have a little bit more sparse grass. You can see here. I'll move this down a little bit so you can see. I'll hit shift and space bar to zoom in. And we'll add a little more grass going up the side of the hill like that. All right, shift and space bar again to exit out of that. Now let's go to window, and then let's open up our asset store here. All right, so what I did is at the top here in the asset store, once it opened, I typed in terrain trees, and I'm looking for free. Now anything we do, a lot of times we have to do some setup because the textures don't work. Here's a procedural terrain generator, which seems pretty cool. It looks like somebody made this and it's free. And it looks like you can make trees in it, which is pretty neat. But I think for now, this is a terrain generator. So it makes what we did, but it makes it procedurally, which means different type. Here's some free textures. I want to make sure, again, that our price is set to free, that we check on free here. And let's just go with this first one. I think this pack is made for the terrain. It's made for Unity's terrain. And there might be some compatibility issues that we have to adjust, like creating our own material, but this looks pretty cool. And it looks like they give you one tree off the bat. There might be some other packs, but I don't know if they're compatible because you need LOD system in place. And it has to be specifically set for that. So anyway, let's go with this. So it'll give us some rocks too. And I'm going to hit add to my assets. I'm going to hit accept. And then we're going to go to open in Unity here, and I'm going to hit download, let that download through. And once that's finished downloading, I'm going to go ahead and click on import. And let's just import all that good stuff. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close this out. And let's see. This is the terrain sample assets here. So I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to, let's see, let me delete these. I don't need these. These are from a different lesson. I'm going to grab these terrain sample assets and drop them in the art folder here and put them inside of environment. And I think I'm going to put them inside of, I think that's good. So what you can do here is, and we'll probably notice that some of these are probably pink Oh no, these look good. All right, cool. They were compatible. I don't know if they have LODs built in. They normally would have a component in here to do that, but there's a couple ways to do this. One, we can go in here and say, okay, here's some models. Here's the materials. I want to, oh, here's some prefabs. This is what we want. Where's the trees? I thought they were going to give us a tree. Fern, heather, plant. Some really nice plants in here that we can use, but I thought they gave us a tree somewhere. Let's see. Oh, here it is. Mountain, terrain, and rocks. Okay. So, yeah, it gave us terrain sample assets, and then we have this mountain, terrain, rocks, and stuff. So let's go inside of environment. I think this terrain sample assets came with the terrain editor. This is the one that we just downloaded, actually. So let's see if this one is compatible. So here's 3D models. We want prefab. And yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about where it's pink. So, for example, here's the tree, right? If we select this tree, you can see it does have an LOD. That's what this little collision box and some other stuff is set up. So let's see, why is this doing this? So right off the bat, we need this universal render pipeline, and we have to switch it to lit. And then that'll change the texture. But it looks like we're missing our base material here. So let's go to, let's see, here's URP setup. I wonder if we have to double click that, and that'll make everything work. Let's see. Yeah, let's import those in. Maybe that'll fix our issue. There we go. Yeah. So it looks like inside of that they have a URP installer, and we now have a tree, and like we could place it and hit Control D to duplicate this. And I don't know if this will work, but because it has to be specifically designed, but let's try it. So I'm gonna have my terrain selected, and I'm gonna go into this paint trees, and I'm gonna hit edit trees. I'm gonna add a tree, and I'm just gonna go in here and type in tree. And collision tree 01 seems to be what the name of this one in our scene is. These trees 01. So I'm gonna hit add, and let's see. Oh, it looks like it allows us to paint it. So that's actually the collision box. So that was the wrong tree. This is actually just tree 001. So let's do that one more time. Let's type tree. And here's tree 001. And let's hit add. And it looks like it appears. And now we could just kind of paint this forest. And what it's doing is tree density, we can make it pretty low. And then that won't be so crazy when we go to paint our trees. And the reason why they're varying in size is because we have random checked on here. So around these houses here, we can say, okay, we want a forest, right? So I'm kind of moving this and just adding some of this. Let's make our brush size a little bit bigger. Come on. It looks like it likes to draw on higher ground, but not lower ground, which is interesting. Or actually where the other, yeah. So we might have to adjust something like this, but that looks pretty good for now. We've got some trees. I'm gonna press play. So I can run around my environment. I've got a couple crooked trees there because it's based on the way the environment's going. And looks good. Running around this forest environment that we have. I got these houses. Again, we could do a little bit of like landscape design, and same thing with environment design, but it's coming along pretty well. I mean, we've done a lot. We've built a house, we've built an environment, and we've got some trees in there. The next thing we need to do is think about something called shaders, which makes our environment even more realistic. And with shaders, you can do things like create animated textures and fire, but we'll talk about that more in the next lesson.